Hello everybody, I am going to be creating a card and I have teamed up with scrapbook.com for a collaboration for World Card Making Day, which is October 7th, so be sure to go check out scrapbook.com for all of the details, and also over on my website I have a blog post with more details as well. Be sure to see the description box below for a full supply list, and I also have one over on my website as well. So I'm going to be creating a card using some Altenew stamps, which scrapbook.com now carries, which is super exciting, and I thought it was perfect to make a card with them because I love Altenew stamps. So I'm using my Tim Holtz platform, and I am stamping VersaMark onto watercolor paper, and I do it twice so that I make sure I get a nice impression. And then I'm using some super fine embossing powder, and I'm just heating that up to melt the embossing powder. I like doing this when I'm watercoloring or anything. That way it kind of is a little cheat method that I use so that I can stay in the lines a little bit better. For today, I'm going to be using some Ken Oliver Color Burst powder. So what I did was I added a little bit of water to the watercolor paper, and then I sprinkled on the powder. That's why it reacted right away. I'm using a watercolor brush to just move around that color. I pounce on the watercolor brush instead of using strokes to color my images. I find that it's easier and it just works the best for me, whether I'm using watercolors or the Zig color row brush markers, whatever type of medium I'm using. I always tend to find the best way to color my images is to pounce the brush instead of using strokes. So I hope that little tip helps you out. So what I'm doing now is I just brushed off some of the color. That way I can try to shade the flowers a little bit here and there. I end up adding a different color in a little bit, and I'm not too worried about the edges because I am going to be cutting these out, so you could see that I am coloring off of the image, and again, that's totally fine with me because I am going to be cutting them out. So the Ken Oliver Color Burst powder, I always want to say spray, but it's powder. They are really pigmented little specks of color. There are so many beautiful colors, but you really do have to be careful when you use them because they are really, really messy. So I haven't used them as much as I would like. I am trying to remember to pull them out because I do love the colors. They're so pigmented and vibrant and just beautiful. I am coloring the stems with burnt orange. It's a really pretty color, and the color that I used for the flowers is turquoise. Beautiful colors together, and I am actually going to be adding some of that burnt orange to the flower itself. The flower, once it's dried, it lightens up quite a bit, and I just felt it needed just a little bit different color variation on the flower. So I add a little bit of that orange color, and I'm dabbing it off, and then I'm going to be wiping off most of the orange from the brush, and then just basically using the water to blend those colors together. And in some areas it does create a like a green color. It's really pretty in person. It's hard to tell in the video and on the pictures, but it's really pretty. So again, I'm just blending those colors out. And then I am going to be taking some of these stamps, and I use a couple different Altenew stamp sets, and one is the Peony set, and the other one is the Beautiful Day stamp set, and I will have all the links down below and over on my website, so be sure to check them out if you are interested. But I stamp them on just regular cardstock with VersaMark ink, and then I am embossing them with superfine gold embossing powder, and I just thought this would be perfect touch for this card. And I do the same with some other leaves and just different stems and different things around so that it gives a nice floral arrangement on the card front. and it ends up being really pretty in the end. I had a vision in mind, and it's hard to kind of vision something like that when you're making it, but it worked out really well, I think. So you could see I am creating them in different steps, so I do a couple at a time. That way I'm not overlapping the VersaMark ink because it's hard to see, obviously, because it's just clear. And after I did all that, I am taking a Lawn Fawn rectangle stitched die, and I cut it out with my Big Shot. And then I also use a Spellbinders embossing folder to create more interest for my card. And then I'm just tearing the bottom. I ended up liking how that was going to look, so I did it to both layers on the card. And I'm just going to layer them together, and you'll see how the card is going to come together. And I love this Spellbinders embossing folder. It's so pretty, and there's so many different uses for it. So you could see here that I tore the bottom of it just to give the card a little bit more interest. And then I popped up the top layer with some fun kids foam, I think it's called. You can get it at anywhere, basically. I like using the foam because it's really lightweight and it's pretty cheap. And you can also cut it down to any size that you need. Alright, so I'm going to layer the card together, and I'm going to add some splatters, and I use the metallic watercolor set from Prima, and I didn't show that in the video, but I did use it. It just gives a nice little touch with the gold metallic splatters. And then I also use the Ken Oliver powder to add the turquoise splatters. I love giving my cards a mixed media feel. And I use some string behind the flowers, the floral stamped images that I'm going to kind of layer behind each other and everything to create my focal point on my card. And that just gives, the string gives my card just a little bit more interest, and again a little mixed media feel to my card. So I am just layering the floral pieces that I cut out onto my card, and once I like how it looks, I'm going to actually stamp my sentiment out, and it just says hello, and then I'm going to emboss it with the gold embossing powder. I stick the sentiment behind the big flower, and then I'm also going to add some Nuvo drops, but I actually put the drops on my mat first, let them dry, and then add them later. That way I don't mess up in any way. And I'm showing you that I use some the quick stick to pick them up, and then I use some glossy accents in the little bottle to add them to my card. So that is going to complete my card. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to check out my website for more details, and leave a comment down below if you want a chance to win one of 3 $25 gift cards I am giving away thanks to scrapbook.com. So be sure to check scrapbook.com out. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.